Welcome to Hannity, and tonight a preview of coming attractions at next week's DNC. Chaos in New York as far-left pro-Hamas rioters are clashing with police, locals, and other Democrats at a pro-Kamala event in Harlem. We are only 82 days away from this inflection point for our country. That is Election Day, and 33 days away from the start of early voting in Pennsylvania. Some ballots go out even sooner, and the Democratic Party has never been more divided. But don't expect Kamala to lead her party or our country out of this abyss. She can't even summon the courage to talk to, friendly reporters or even hold a town hall. God forbid she does a real interview. It has been 25 days since Kamala Harris was mysteriously coronated as the Democratic nominee without a single primary vote, and she has yet to hold a single press conference, interview, or even a press gaggle. Nothing. Nada. Anyway, so much as has purportedly changed for Kamala this past month, ever since she became the presumptive Democratic nominee, including almost every one of her deeply held far-left radical beliefs, or at least that's what her aides are telling us. She has yet to confirm it. Kamala's campaign is one big con. You're being conned. Everything is a lie. Everything is fake and phony. They're trying to just hide it until we get to early voting. The endorsement phone call, remember, with the Obamas, that was all staged. The live phone call with Joe Biden from a rally, that was staged. The cringeworthy interview with her running mate was also staged. Take a look.
Like, I have white guy tacos and
what is
like
that?
black,
like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
pretty much ground beef and cheese.
That's
and,
okay. Do you put any flavor in it?
No.
Oh.
Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota, you know.
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
Well, trying to expand
we'll
my food knowledge.
You know what? We've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not scripted at all. Kamala is attempting to create a political illusion, and it's based on a big lie, all while her policy positions, they're not even listed on her website. And try as she may, the vice president just cannot seem to shake her radical instincts. Take a look at your screen. Now, this is what grocery shopping looked like with price controls. That's the former Soviet Union. Remember, they were waiting for bread and bread lines and toilet paper and empty shelves and hungry people with sunken eyes. Here is the cold, hard, simple truth. Farmers, suppliers, distributors, other businesses do not operate at a loss. That is not capitalism. They either eventually go out of business or they move to another country. And the supply chain in the country where they're having those things dries up. But when the Soviet Union got rid of price controls and let the market determine the cost, well, food returned to the shelves, the bread lines disappeared. Now, if she goes the route of weaponizing the DOJ to go after food companies and manufacturers, think for a second. What do you think they're going to have to do? They will hire lawyers. Now, they're not going to hire cheap lawyers. They're going to hire lawyers from the top law firms in the country. They're very expensive. And they will spend millions and millions of dollars defending themselves. And likely they're going to win. And guess who's going to pay for the lawyers? Consumers. You will, in the form of higher prices. But sadly, no one in the Harris campaign seems to understand history or economics. Now, tomorrow, Kamala is announcing a proposal to go after grocery stores for, quote, price gouging. After more than 3 years in office without a plan to bring down inflation, lying that it was only transitory, after actually causing the inflation, the best Kamala could come up with is what? Marxism, socialism, statism, I don't know. Basically communism, and I'll let this be a warning. Kamala is either the single most radical person to ever run for president of our country, or she's the dumbest person in politics. We'll let you decide. Either way, if all Americans, I am convinced, if they fully understand the scope of her radical, extreme, dangerous agenda, if they see what is happening and she is hiding on purpose, she will lose in a landslide. Take a look at this brand new poll tonight, John McLaughlin and the Media Research Center. It's very revealing. Now, they did interviews with 1,200 Democrats and independent Biden voters. The vast majority are almost completely unaware of any of her real, very radical positions. Look at this. A whopping 86% did not know, don't know about her plan to let death row inmates vote. 81% don't know that she supported the elimination of private health insurance. 78% didn't know about her support of the Minnesota bail fund. You know, after the police precinct was burned to the ground 4 days later, 77% are unaware she wanted to abolish ICE and compared them to the KKK. Nearly 75% don't know about her proposal to decriminalize illegal immigration, and that would include, by the way, free housing, health care, and education, or her support for the Green New Deal, $93 trillion, a monstrosity that would bankrupt this country. Or do they know about her calls to defund the police? Over 70% unaware that Harris barely ever visited the border. Just one time, El Paso, not a point where it was in contention and where action was at the time. She stayed for a whopping 15 minutes. She didn't bother to go near Eagle Pass or any other hotspot, but she's never been to Europe either. Now, of course, this was a huge responsibility for Vice President Harris. Early in the administration, she was supposed to find the root cause of mass illegal immigration, and she was given the task to fix the crisis. That obviously never happened. In fact, the crisis only got worse in the past 3 years. More than, 11 million unvetted Biden-Harris illegal immigrants have entered our country from all over the world, 180 countries, including Iran, and let's see, Syria, and China, and Russia, and Yemen, and Venezuela, and other countries that don't particularly like us. In a newly discovered video, you're going to love this one. According to Kamala, Trump's emphasis on border security and stopping terrorists was nothing but a vanity project. Take a look.
This is a crisis of the president's own making to fulfill his quest to build a vanity project called the wall. This is irresponsible. It's the height of irresponsibility for the commander-in-chief to suggest that we have to build a wall across our southern border because there are terrorists who are trying to invade the country. It couldn't be farther from the truth.
Kamala, you couldn't be more wrong. I know you don't like the words radical Islamic terrorism, and you don't like the word illegal alien, and when you want every American to have the courage to never use them, take a look at your screen right there. You see the names right there? Those names? Hundreds of individuals on the terrorist watch list. Yeah, by the way, have been encountered trying to cross the border. Those are the names of people that were murdered by unvetted Harris and Biden illegal immigrants. And these unvetted terrorists, they're in towns and cities and plotting and planning, the next 9/11. The very thing, the vanity project that was working that you destroyed. Many of these people with terror ties have been released into this country because you have failed this country. It is the single biggest national security failure in our lifetime. And I contend, and I pray to God I'm wrong, that it's not a matter of if, it's when. This country will be attacked because of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. They already have blood on their hands. Read those names. A Palestinian man on the terror watch list, Kamala, not a vanity project, from the West Bank, was just apprehended in New Mexico, in our country. Look at this headline from 2 weeks ago. 3 Palestinian terror suspects caught after crossing the border illegally as overwhelmed agents are warning, I probably let terrorists in. Well, that's where this gets really scary. We have no idea how many so-called gotaways are terrorists or other violent criminals. And according to a report from the House Judiciary Committee, more than 250 suspected terrorists were encountered at the border between 2021 and 2023. Not a vanity project. And at least 99 were caught and 99 were released into the U.S. That's the people we know about. Now, of course, because of the sheer numbers of illegal immigrants and a lack of cooperation from their home countries, the Biden-Harris administration is barely vetting any illegal immigrants, and 90+% get to stay. According to our own Bill Maloogian, quote, both of the illegal immigrants arrested in recent days for raping women in New York City were caught and released at the border under the Biden-Harris administration. And it gets worse. Breaking tonight, again, Bill Maloogian is also reporting that a Peruvian gang leader who is wanted for a whopping 23 murders, he was just arrested in Buffalo, New York. and he was caught and released at the border by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They have blood on their hands. For the past 3.5 years, Kamala Harris has failed all of you, our country. You've put Americans in danger. Americans are being murdered and raped and being victims of violent crime. And now she wants a promotion? Her running mate isn't any better. Tim Walz is, well, beyond a weirdo and extremist. His politics are more appropriate for his favorite country, China, where he spent his honeymoon, and he visited China over 30 times. Walz agrees with all of Kamala's radical positions. He let Minneapolis burn for nearly 5 days in the name of equity, all while his family was opening up the windows to their home. They wanted to breathe in and smell the burning tires as the city's burning to the ground and people are being murdered, and hundreds of millions of dollars in property and business damages is taking place. Now, sadly, Walz is also a notoriously sloppy liar. This is Walz. Oh, that's his mugshot from 1995. He was arrested for drunk driving while doing 96 miles per hour in a 55 zone while apparently dressed like a member of the Chinese Communist Party. I don't know. But that's not where the story ends. A senior reporter, fake news, CNN even uncovered the following quote. During his 2006 congressional run, Tim Walz's campaign falsely claimed that he wasn't drinking during his 95 arrest, and the DUI charge was dismissed. They even said he drove to the station. His campaign lied and said he failed a sobriety test because of a disability caused by his National Guard service. The campaign even said that the DUI charge was dropped because the trooper misunderstood his condition, and there was no basis for the charge, which is another lie. And according to the court records, Walz was extremely wasted drunk, nearly twice the legal limit, was transported to jail by a state trooper, and the lies don't stop there. Walz also has a history, as we have been telling you, of embellishing his career in the National Guard. Here he is, nodding in agreement when a reporter praises his service in Afghanistan. For the record, Walz never, ever, ever served in a war zone. Stolen valor. Take a look.
Congressman Tim Walz, also a member of the Armed Services Committee and Veterans Affairs, Democrat of Minnesota, highest-ranking enlisted soldier ever to serve in Congress, enlisted in the Army National Guard at 17 and retired 24 years later as Command Sergeant Major and served with his battalion at Operating Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan.
Fake news. According to service members in his former platoon, Walz retired after learning about an upcoming deployment to Iraq and then spent the next 2 decades embellishing both his service in a war zone that didn't happen and his rank. His successor in the National Guard even penned a private letter asking Walz to stop claiming a rank that he didn't have for political gain. This is one of the worst presidential tickets in American history, almost as if it was thrown together at the last minute without any input from any voters, even in the Democratic Party. You'd think they'd be more angry than they are. And if these voters actually learn more about the records, the radical beliefs of both Harris and Walz, I predict that this ticket will be doomed come November. I hope it's not too late. Early voting is starting soon. Oh, and don't forget, this is the same guy that has no limitations on abortion, the guy that wants to put, oh, that's right, he wants to put feminine products in boys' bathrooms in schools, and also the gender-affirming radical ideology of California, and keep the parents, those nuisances, out of the way. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.